September 20th, new national holiday for the city of Philadelphia as we find out Joel Embiid has signed a 3-year, $193 million extension. This is added on to the 2-year, $110 million that's remaining on his contract. It also removes the player option for 2026, 2027, and it basically locks Joel Embiid in with Philadelphia for the rest of his prime. I love this deal on all sides. This is a big W for the Philadelphia 76ers, which is probably a cherry on top of the most impactful and important offseason in their franchise history. This is an offseason where you tie up Tyrese Maxey, you go out and you on the market and you get the best player on the market in Paul George. You not only get Paul George, but you're putting Paul George in a position that I think at this point in his career is perfect. We've seen what happened with the Clippers, the injuries with him and Kawhi, the small moments that they had falling short. You now minimize that and say, hey, Paul George, we're going to bring you in, we're going to pay you, but you're also going to be in a position where you're the third option. The third option. And not only are you the third option, you're playing next to one of the most dominant bigs in the game who can't be guarded without seeing 2 or 3 bodies. So when you look at the season Paul George had, shooting the ball, scoring the basketball, the efficiency at this age, playing 74 games as well, this looks like a match made in heaven when you look at the other 2 guys who are going to lead the ship in Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid. And then you also remember that they have Nick Nurse, who is one of the brightest minds in the basketball right now. We don't forget about the run and the coaching job he did in 2019 with the Toronto Raptors. I love this for them. I love this for them. No matter what happens, as a fan of an organization, because I know 76ers fans are going to be watching this, all you can really ask is for the franchise to put y'all in a position to be the best that y'all can be. And they did everything perfectly this offseason. There was nothing left on the table to be like, man, we coulda, woulda, shoulda. You got the best player on the market. You signed up your young talent long term. You brought in your best player. You doubled down on the extension, so you don't have to worry about all the rumors that people like me in the media, because we have to just wonder. And Joel Embiid a couple times made comments, you know what I mean? So all of that speculation, will Embiid be there? And let's be fair. Let's be fair to both sides. I understand how it is being a fan and your best player or star player is in rumors constantly. But on the flip side, you can't be mad at media people either, because number one, Joel Embiid made comments, and because it looked like for a while Philadelphia ran its course. You know, since Joel Embiid has been there, they've won, but they haven't got to certain points in the playoffs. They haven't got to the conference finals. They haven't got to the NBA finals. And they have had some really, really good teams. I mean, the Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid era was really, really good with those 2. Then they added and added and added. You had J.J. Redick. You had Tobias Harris when he was looked at differently. You had Jimmy Butler. All of that didn't work and it crumbled. And you brought in Doc Rivers, and the Ben Simmons stuff didn't work again. And then you brought in James Harden, and then you brought in Nick Nurse, and then that didn't work. And now it's Tyrese Maxey, who you drafted. He breaks out and looks like a star. And it's like, okay, we got something even though we lost Harden. And then now you double down by being able to get Paul George, and without having to prove anything. Before y'all even able to play a game, Embiid says, hey, lock it in. Let's get this out of the way. Let's get that negative energy and rumors. Let's clear the air so we can play stress-free basketball and just focus on that main goal, which is winning and doing something we haven't done, which is reaching the conference finals and competing for a championship. You look at this roster. You have a projected starting lineup of Tyrese Maxey, Paul George, Kelly Oubre, Caleb Martin, and Joel Embiid. Yeah, they're thin at the 4. They're going to probably look to add some size some way. Buyout market, trade deadline, I don't know. But we obviously know that they're going to need some size, because Paul George, Oubre, Caleb Martin being your 4 in the front court has you a little thin. But still a very, very good lineup. Off your bench, you have veteran guards and Kyle Lowry, Eric Gordon, and then you have a big body in Drummond, a guy who's still going to be able to give you possessions with his rebounding ability. You got Kyle Lowry, who can coexist in the backcourt with Tyrese Maxey, who can come in and lead the ship steady when Maxey's going to the bench. And then you have Eric Gordon, who's a sharpshooting guard, who's going to be able, again, to play off of Joel Embiid when he's getting double teamed and different things like that. Beneath that, you also have Yabusele, who you signed this offseason after how he looked in the Olympics. You drafted Jared McCain, who was a guy that could have an underrated rookie campaign. You have Ricky Council, who there are some things we've seen that we like. There's KJ Martin. There's somebody out of that group of four, who is also going to probably have some moments and identify themselves as guys that need some type of minutes and can carve out a role, I like what you have here. You have a good 8 to 9 man rotation that seems to be reliable. I think it's going to do well in the regular season. I think it's going to take stress off of Paul George, Embiid, and Maxey, and they're going to be able to rest and be well focused and well ready for the playoffs. The only thing you have to mention when you now have a team that's led by Embiid and Paul George is the injury history. You have to hope that these guys can hold up and be there enough to have a really good year and then be well focused, well energized, and healthy for the playoffs, because that's where it's going to matter the most. But on paper, this team is legit. I think, like I said, Nick Nurse is a hell of a coach. And then on the flip side for Joel Embiid, I just can't imagine how it feels as a star player like this, to play somewhere like Philadelphia, who can be so passionate, so passionate, one of the best places to play, and to be able to call it your home now, to have that monkey off your back, to have the love that you have, and to look at the roster and say, okay, this is one of the best teams. Again, when you look at Joel Embiid's career and you look at the teams and the teammates he's had, it makes sense why he signed the extension. Philadelphia, this is why there's value in just putting together good teams and showing your star how much you believe in them. This is why it's very important to have good ownership, good GMing, and just doing a really good job, because without even playing the game, we don't know how this is going to go. This team could look really good on paper, and there could be some things that continue to hinder them from getting to the conference finals or from an NBA finals appearance. But because the organization has shown Joel Embiid, we believe in you and we're going to do our job to the best of our ability. We can only work with what we have. And they executed this offseason perfectly. They signed up Tyrese Maxey. That was an emotional moment for him and Embiid. Again, they went out and got Paul George, the hottest name on the market, the quote-unquote best player legitimately available. You went out, you stole Caleb Martin from the Heat. You brought back Kyle Lowry. You got Drummond. You got Gordon. Like, they did as much as they could with the room they had to work with. And I love when players like Embiid acknowledges that and says, hey, it's now up to me to be healthy and to perform the way I know I'm capable of to take us over the top. Y'all have done everything. We got Nick Nurse as a coach. Like, I just love when NBA star players do this. And I want to see more of it. You know what I mean? I want to see more of it because obviously with the media the way it is now and everybody being so critical about guys not winning a championship, everybody's not going to win a championship. That's just the truth of it. We've got spoiled seeing so many different guys win championships and teaming up and different things like that. I love to see a player go against the grain and stay loyal and reward an organization by doing everything. Imagine if the 76ers lost Joel Embiid. And I don't want to be naive because it's still possible. Signing an extension doesn't remove all of that. They can do this for 2 years and realize, hey, this is not it. And even with the deal, he can request a trade. I don't want to speak that into the air, but it's still a possibility. But I love when players reward an organization. It's so unfair for organizations to do everything right and still lose the player. Now, don't get me wrong. When an organization isn't doing everything right and they're showing that they're incapable of positioning the team properly around a star player to hit that level, then, yeah, it's time to chuck up the deuces and get up out of there. But when you have the Mavericks answering every call they can to put the proper team around Luka to then get to the finals last year, that was beautiful. When you have a 76ers who drafted Ben and he played the way that he played for that era, even when that fell short, they were able to pick up those pieces and draft a Maxey at 20 or 21. Then they were able to flip Ben for James Harden and PJ Tucker or whatever. They were able to bring in Jimmy Butler, Tobias Harris, JJ Redd. Like, they have done a really good job during his career. He's played for Brett Brown, Doc Rivers, Nick Nurse. Like, phenomenal job. And I just love it. I think it makes the Eastern Conference incredible. You know what I mean? That you have this nucleus tied up. It puts pressure on the Knicks to make sure that they have Brunson locked in, OG. Now we got to make sure we get McHale. You see what the Boston Celtics are doing. They're spending their money to make sure that they keep their guys up. This is going to be a hell of a year And for the next few seasons, because guys are getting locked up long term, we can now actually look forward to potentially having some rivalries. Will the Knicks and Sixers become a rivalry? Again, like a real heated one. I'm not talking about, oh, they're going to play. I'm talking about how it used to be back then, back in the day. The Pacers are getting better. We're going to see what happens with the Miami Heat because Jimmy Butler is now in that situation where the rumors are spiraling and floating all over around. He's on the last year of his deal. But we're going to have Boston. We're going to have Philadelphia. We're going to have New York. We're going to have Milwaukee. There is going to be high-level competitive basketball at the top of the Eastern Conference for the next foreseeable future. I mean, really, really, really critical high-level basketball. And we're not talking about the teams who are going to come out of nowhere. Like, we don't know how elite the Magic can be. Can they take another leap as a unit? Can the Pacers take another leap with Pascal being there for a full year? I'm not even mentioning those teams. I'm just talking about the teams that I know for a fact are going to be in that elite company conversation. And for Joel Embiid to now have signed that dotted line, and we can, look at this team and say this is what it's going to be for the next few years, it gets me excited as a basketball fan. I want to see more of this from both sides. I'm always on the player side, but I'm not solely 100% against the organization. When I see organizations do right by players, I like to see players reward the organization, and I like to see it back and forth. I love to see when a player gets rewarded for being loyal. We need more of this in basketball. We need to empower players and empower organizations to keep these marriages together and less of breaking up and just running off as quick as you can or the first moment you can. Because, again, everybody isn't supposed to win championships. We're not supposed to look at the top 100 players and be like, oh, man, they all have rings. It's like, no. We're supposed to look at certain guys and be like, damn, man, I wish he would have been able to get a ring. It's a part of the game. Everybody can't win. Everybody won't be able to win. But that's better than everybody winning by joining and clicking up every single chance. Like, oh, my gosh, Steph Curry done played with Durant and Clay and Dre, and he played with Iggy. And, oh, my gosh, now he's going to play with Joel and be like, you just look at this era, and there's so many guys that played together, and I just like it when they battle in each other. You know what I mean? It's nothing wrong with clicking up here and there. Super teams and big threes and things are going to happen. But it's like, damn, you look at like Kevin Durant has played with Steph, Kyrie, James Harden, Devin Booker. You know what I mean? It's like, damn, Russell Westbrook. Like, whoa, you play with damn near 10 Hall of Famers. The list of who LeBron and everybody's played with. And it's just like, I like it when you guys kind of go against each other. You know what I mean? Personally. You know what I'm saying? So I love this for basketball. Shout out to Joel Embiid, man. The process. I'm actually kind of rooting for them to a certain level because I'm still a Knicks fan at the end of the day. And I want to see my Knicks get to the Eastern Conference Finals. I want to see my Knicks get to the finals. They're going to be a team in a way. But at the same time, I do want to see the Sixers get some success. So let's hope that we can have a conference finals of Knicks versus a 76ers in the foreseeable future because, hey, man, I love when things are done right. The organization done right by him. He's doing right by them. Let's hope that they can at least have some health and can have a prosperous season. Just not better than the Knicks. As always, I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. We locked back in. The season is right around the way. I took some time off. Y'all know I don't go away that long. We back. This is Pee Wee the Plug. I am Pee Wee the Plug. I'll see y'all next time I'm out. Peace.